Welcome back to Casual Bars Rugby. And it's that time of the week. It's the Super Rugby Chatter. What a weekend.
It's the best time of the week.
I don't like the fact that we went into this past weekend and we agreed on everything. So both of us got one wrong. It's a horrible one to get wrong. My little underdog shout, my little dark horse. But anyway, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, good. It's been busy, man. There's a lot going on in the world of rugby at the moment. Obviously, we're hitting Lions season as well. Champions Cup's coming to an end. Super Rugby's at its tail end as well now. And man, it's just good. I love having all this rugby going on. It's a nice distraction from the rest of life.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, the big talking points of the week was obviously the Champions Cup, the British and Irish Lions coming up and whatever. But this is our favorite time to talk. Well, Wednesday evening chatter. We'll start off round 12. As you know, we're doing the review of the previous round, and then we're going into the preview of the next. If you do like your rugby, do like just talking a bit of shit when it comes down to rugby, you do like your Super Rugby, this is the place to be, so hit that follow button, right? And if you haven't joined our Discord, which is totally free, the same with subscribing to the channel, we will never charge you any money, right? So join the Discord, join the discussion, give us your wild takes and whatever, and show Aiden some love and support there on his TikTok journey as well. Anyway, we started off with the rampant Blues. We actually called this. We said, listen, it's wakey for the Blues. They've made their video, not done and dusted yet. And they've come out and they've got a 21-point victory, 40 points to 19. I'm pretty sure they got the bonus point as well. Yeah, dominance.
Yeah, pretty much the perfect result for the Blues. You know, they got the full 5 points. They got the win, the 4-point win, and the bonus point for scoring 3 tries more than the opposition. And
also goes above the force. With that.
Yeah, it goes above the force. And for a brief moment in time, they were in the top 6. But obviously there were games to play afterwards that changed that. But yeah, I mean, as we said, when you put out a video like that on social media, you got to win the next game. Because if you don't, you look like idiots. And it's embarrassing.
Well, how about they just post another one now?
Yeah, they just got to keep doing it, I think, because it clearly lit a fire.
Post the story. Told you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there were some key players from that game that they're always going to be key players for that team, and that's the likes of, you know, your Bowden Barrett having an exceptional game for them. Absolute worldie from him. But as well, Xavier Taeli in the midfield. He's really stepped up this year. A few people have dropped out. Corey Evans as well had a good game, I think. Perifetta looked all right in the backfield, nothing special. But then your forwards, Ricky Riccatelli, doing Ricky Riccatelli things. Satutu, slightly quieter, but still a decent performance. And these players are...
He hasn't properly woke up this season yet.
No.
Do you reckon you should be afraid of what he can be come playoff time?
It's nothing we haven't seen, though, right? Like, he's not a surprise package for this year or what he can achieve, because we know how good he can be. We saw it last year. He was the player of the tournament. So there's no sort of question about where he could go with his ability and how good he could be in this competition, because we've seen that. You don't get better than player of the tournament. You can't be the player of the tournament. There's no extra step above that. So we know how good he can be, and I think it's just about him continuing that form this year. And we can both agree probably hasn't been as good as he has last year. But overall, the team stood up. That's all that matters. And as much as I dislike the Blues, it was a comfy win.
Yeah, because the Force aren't a bad team.
No,
nope. Right, like, what do you take away if you're a Force fan now? Because that's a tough. I wouldn't say it's a tough victory to swallow. That feels like a bit harsh. But like, they would have fancied their chances to get into the top 6. The Force have played some decent rugby this season. I hope it's not one of those where they just tail off come the end of the season. Same as like the Lions in the URC. You want some Aussie representation. And if you look at the Aussie teams, Waratahs down at the bottom, Force down at the bottom now, Reds in a bit of danger if you look at the run that they have to go on now. It's tough.
I just think it's a similar story to what we've seen in the past from some of the Aussie teams. Is they're getting better and better at home, like they're getting tougher and tougher to beat at home. And if you look at the way the season shakes up, the first probably third of the season are derbies. So you have like New Zealand teams playing New Zealand teams, throw in obviously the Drua and Moana Pacifica wherever you want to, and Australian teams playing Australian teams. The middle sort of section of the season is more trans-Tasman games, so Kiwis playing Australian teams and vice versa. And then the tail end of the season is sort of a mix. You get quite a few derbies, but you get quite a few trans-Tasman clashes as well. And so what we did see was these Australian teams quite strong at the start of the season because they were playing amongst each other. They were playing at home a lot more. And so we saw quite a lot of Australian teams inside the top 6. And then the longer the season's gone on, they're still struggling.
Injuries kicking as well. Like you can clearly see the New Zealand squad depth. It's just a class above still.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, we're starting from different points. Like New Zealand rugby and Australian rugby aren't in the same position. And yes, Australian rugby has definitely improved. There's no question Australian rugby has improved.
Yeah.
But they're still struggling in the areas like playing away from home. We've seen some improvements.
The
like
games are a lot closer though.
Yeah, a lot closer.
I know we're speaking about a bit of a thrashing, but yeah, to do them a disservice by saying they it's rinse and repeat would be a bit unfair, like from my side.
100%. But we're also seeing like the Reds beat the Highlanders away. Brumbies beat the Blues in Auckland for the first time in like 10 years. So there are improvements coming, but you can still see they're not quite where they need to be.
Step in the right direction, though.
Yeah, not where they need to be, in my opinion, to win the competition. But man, is it way more competitive.
Yeah. The Drua and edging it out with the Reds. Oh, tough ball to swallow, right at the end as well, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember now. Yeah,
right at the end.
80th minute. I mean, that's horrible. That's a horrible pill to swallow. Dark horses. Looks like dark times at the moment. Obviously, the Reds have played a game less, right? So they're on 28 points, but only 10 games played. But that would have been a massive victory. It would have given the Reds or kept the little buffer that they had, because obviously there was big victories for the likes of Blues, Pacifica, Hurricanes, all below them. All of them has just narrowed the gap with that one.
Yeah, it's massive. Good for my Hurricanes, but the Drua, man, they can just put on a performance every now and again that they almost look unbeatable. And this wasn't at Lautoka, I don't believe, so it's not their like unbeatable ground. But they still do things in these games that you're just like, why? If they do this all the time, they genuinely won't lose a game. And when
you reckon it's the fans? What do you think it's all about?
I don't know. I think maybe it's just the comfort level of playing in an environment they're so used to. Like the fans are incredible, regardless whether they play in Suva or Lautoka. Like they get behind them 100%. It's loud. The atmosphere is incredible. And maybe it's just a comfort thing that they're like, yeah, this is what I grew up playing. And they just, you can see.
If the Drua played every game in Fiji, if this whole tournament was played just in Fiji, they'd win it.
Yeah, it would be pretty tough to beat them, honestly. But you see, like the 50-50 balls that don't pay off when they play away always seem to go to hand when they're playing in Fiji. They have confident moves off the lineouts, off scrums, in broken play that it doesn't feel like it works when they go away from home. So I don't know what it is, but they need to try and replicate that success when they're not playing in Fiji.
Yeah, no, it's playing Fiji. Playing the Drua in Fiji is a scary thought. We've mentioned this before. Like your first game that you have to look out for on your calendar is when are we playing? Where are we playing the Drua? And are we playing them in Fiji? Because it's a scary thought.
Yeah.
So yeah, tough ball to swallow for the Reds. The Reds will probably feel like that's one that got away. Should have bagged it in the lead, 80 minutes in. Just get the ball, kick it out. Can't do it. Fiji never say die attitude. So compliments to Fiji. But now off to the big game. I can see that cheeky little grin that you've got going there. The Hurricanes, how do you say it? Outclassed the Chiefs.
Them.
There was squeaky bum time at a certain point in this game, right? When was it an interception from the Chiefs? I can't even remember.
Yeah, Rona.
Yeah, when we went in and it was like, oh, that's not what you want, right? And you thought, okay, maybe that's the gap that the Chiefs needed.
It was such a BS interception too, because we had knock-on advantage. We go backwards, and we somehow lose advantage going backwards, and then we concede an intercept try. I was watching the game, go, how is it not called back for the advantage? Apparently, ref said advantage over, and I was thinking,
yeah, well, I mean, what's the discussion around that? Is it on meters gained? Is it of like, okay, the game's settled down, the play's gone on? I don't even know. Right? Because you see it with the penalties as well. Like some teams gaining 30 meters and then all of a sudden just get blown back. And it's like, well, what the fuck? Where's that rule of like 10 meters?
Yeah, I thought the rule was where the penalty or the advantage is given is like you draw an imaginary line across the pitch, and that is the advantage line. So when you pass that or you go past that point for short arm advantages, that's when advantage is over. I don't really know what the difference is in terms of how long the advantage is given between a long arm and a short arm penalty advantage or a knock-on advantage.
Well, that depends on the ref. The ref just confuses.
But for that one, we went backwards and then lost the ball backwards. And then
I reckon that might have been on phases. If you've seen the players settle down and the game's going again, which is fine, right? There was no clarity on the rule. That's just the thing, that we need a bit more clarity in regards to that. For me, the big thing with advantages is the penalties, right? Is it phases? Is it meters game? Because like I'm so tired of seeing a line break, and then the other team fucks it up, right? The team that's attacking, and then all of a sudden they still have that advantage going back about 20 meters. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But anyways, moving on from that, ended up being irrelevant. The Hurricanes second 40. Oh my goodness. We unfortunately lost Kenny Naholo very early in the first half. That's worrying. But the guy that stood up, Balin Sullivan, came off the bench playing winger, usually a centre or a fullback.
Sully the man.
Yeah, Ruben Love played brilliantly at 10, which was great. And the midfield. Oh my goodness. Riley Higgins, Billy Proctor, and then Callum Harkin at the back were simply outrageous. They were so good. They were just slicing through the defense, making the right decisions. I've spoke about the Hurricanes this year a lot, about how it always feels like we make the wrong decisions in key areas of the park, and that's why we lose games. We don't have those level heads to make the correct decisions. Those three guys in that game against the Chiefs made the correct decisions, and they either led towards tries or retaining possession that eventually led to tries, a few phases down.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you, have you picked up that since we started this little journey about talking about Super Rugby on the channel, at the start we spoke about the defensive woes for the Hurricanes. Since Billy Proctor's come back, you haven't really conceded any points. I mean, take away that interception, right? Because that's obviously an attacking mishap. They get the intercept, they score. That's 7 points. Take that away. You're looking at a 33, what was it, 35? 10 victory
35-10, yeah.
35-10.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really see whether, especially in that second half, whether Hurricanes even put a foot wrong. It was so clinical. It was so defensively well structured. It was beautiful to watch. A guy coming from the bench scoring 4 tries.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he did play like 65 minutes, but still.
So what?
Still 4 tries is 4 tries, right? And they were all excellent. Like they weren't just free tries, maybe other than the one where it was pretty much all Ruben Love, his crossfield kick, and all he had to do was catch it. But other than that, they were well-worked tries, created the space, just made the right decisions. And they just come off line breaks that we haven't seen from many other teams in general, really, from structured and unstructured play. You have the likes of Callum Harkin coming in the back, scything through, and then quick ruck ball from Cam Roigard gets the other players involved, and then it moves left to right. We exploit the wide channels, which is what we always do really well, and then we score. But as you said, the big difference is that defensive shift is huge.
If you could magically increase Ruben Love's kicking powers, like goal kicking, do you see an opportunity for him taking that 10 jersey for the All Blacks?
I mean, he kicked pretty well that game, but it's more consistent.
Yeah. But he's not your your prime kicker. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised. Like hasn't Harkin taken a couple of kicks as well, like in the past when Ruben Love
Yeah,
was injured?
maybe. The guy
Because
that's
he's got a
injured.
monster boot, right? I still remember him kicking. What was it? Was it against the Crusaders? I think Godfrey didn't have the legs for it, and then Harkin just took it.
Yeah, maybe. I can't quite remember. But we've also got Brett Cameron, who many people have forgotten about. He was our first five last year. He's a really good kicker off the tee, very accurate.
I'm just
He's
thinking
coming.
about in terms of creativity from the 10. And Ruben Love's great defensively. He's great in terms of his creativity. If you give him Geordie Barrett, you give him Billy Proctor as your 13. I mean, that is sexy with your scary wingers. You've still got Will Jordan at fullback, Caleb Clark. Let's just keep it with Mark Talaya, even though he'll most likely not be the All Blacks winger. That is a scary, scary backline.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, we've always had a lot of attacking threat, and that's no different now. Like some of these guys you give them a half chance and, they're putting points on you. But a lot of these guys are now definitely coming through with that defensive mindset as well. As you said, Ruben Love's been pretty physical on defense, which is really good. He doesn't just chop the ankles and take the man. He's okay to front up and put in a hit if he needs to.
Geordie's not going to miss. Billy Proctor's not going to miss.
No, yeah, Geordie and Billy Proctor are. I mean, Geordie's ridiculously physical, and Billy Proctor is also really physical as well. But he's also smart about how he does. It's a very good positional 13 as well. So lots of positives, but I could speak about the Hurricanes forever, so I don't want to take all the time up on that. But good stuff. Big win.
It's crazy because we called this Chiefs loss, right? Or well, the Hurricanes victory after the Chiefs' very, very impressive second half performance who did they play against last week? Against the Force as well.
Yeah.
Right. It just, I don't even know what to say about the Chiefs. I think the credit more just goes to the Hurricanes. Like, I don't want to say the Chiefs were bad. Obviously, they could have played better. But the Hurricanes were just absolutely sensational. It's going to be interesting how the Chiefs front up this weekend out, because obviously D-Mac's back. Wallace Atiti is starting his first game again, which is massive. But we'll talk about that in a second. Brumbies destroying the Waratahs.
Yeah.
And we said, listen, the Waratahs, they broke the little voodoo and then just went straight back at it.
Yeah. Well, no, because we were undecided whether after the bye it was a good week or a bad week. Now we've decided that the bye means is back onto the bad week. And now we start again.
Yeah, well, now they've got no, they don't have a bye. My bad. For some reason, I couldn't find the name.
Yeah, the Brumbies. The Brumbies bouncing back after the loss against the Hurricanes. I said they wouldn't lose 2 games at home. It's unlike them. They're the best Aussie team and have been for a while for a reason. And they were clinical against the Waratahs. I didn't think the Waratahs were bad.
It was a great watch, by the way.
Actually, what I said in last week's video was perfect. I said the Waratahs would actually have an on week, but still lose. And I thought they were actually quite good in the game.
They were. So Joseph Swali had a great game. Really good. The amount of meters that guy made was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was out of this world.
Tom Wright in that game.
Tom Wright was out of this world.
Yeah, Corey Toole was pretty decent as well. Muirhead played well.
Alan Alatua was a monster.
Yeah, Billy Pollard in the hooker position as well. He was great. I mean, the Brumbies.
They took him off because I could have got a hat trick for.
The Brumbies are just, you know what you're getting, and to me, I don't know if you would agree with this. They remind me of like the old South African rugby team, like not old, but I'm talking like from when I watched from like 2007 through to 2015, let's say, where you knew they were going to come and beat you up in the forge. You knew they were going to maul you as much as they could. And it wasn't about how are they going to do it. It's can you stop them? And it's the same with the Brumbies. You know they're going to kick to the corner.
It's kind of with the Springboks now. I think the Springboks now play a lot like the Brumbies did.
Yeah, you know they're going to kick to the corner. You know they're going to try and maul you. It's not a surprise.
And then you've got a couple of juicy wingers.
Yeah, can you defend it? And if you can't, you concede 40 points. Like it is what it is. It's not. They're not a team that like tactically pulls you apart. They push through you. They see those areas and they're like, yeah, we're going to test your defense. And if it doesn't hold, we're going to score tries. And if it does, we'll keep trying.
Yeah. And then finally, Highlanders defeated at home.
Last minute as well, 80th minute.
You said it yourself. Can Adi Savia be stopped?
No. Guys, I'm sorry. I think he's the best player in the world. I genuinely think, I'm a big fan of Peter Steff. I think he's brilliant as well. Obviously, there's some international players playing up north.
In terms of talent, like he's obviously got more talent than Peter Steff. Peter Steff's not going to dink it over you and sprint past you like he's a winner. He's like, yeah, but in the meantime, still jackal the ball or run across your, like Peter Steff is just the workhorse. Adi Savia is what can't you do in terms of talent, right? In the game of rugby, Adi Savia, Cheslin Colby, right? Because let's not forget that guy threw in at lineouts.
Yeah, he's up there. I agree.
And then Antoine Dupont. I think that's like in terms of talents, like of the game. Sasha is he's still so young, right? But he can do basically everything as well, right?
Yeah.
But those guys are like they are not supposed to do that.
No,
like Sasha having a bit of skill is fine, but if you look at what the other guys are doing, it is ridiculous.
It's it's one of those players, and I agree with the three you mentioned. It is one of those when those players play rugby, you see them do something, and your first instinct is, how the fuck did they do that? Like, where's that come from? He's just grabbed a juggling ball. It's a bit out of nowhere. The defensive line is up. There is nothing on. And he's like, oh yeah, left foot, weak foot grubber through the back, sprint past the winger, collect it, get tackled while collecting it, and then have enough awareness to roll and score the try in the corner.
Kind of, if I have to put it in the scenarios, like if me and you sat and watched the game, right? But we were like in a chat and one of us spot that, and it's like you kind of going to take a bite. It's like, did you just fucking see that?
it's so out the blue. Like,
and it's not once off. This is not a one-off thing that he does. He did it a couple of games ago.
Literally last week he did it. And it got disallowed, sure. But he's doing this week in, week out. On top of the fact he's a brilliant loose forward. He wins turnovers. His post-contact meters are simply ridiculous. That guy does not go down. His defense is incredible. His distributing and passing is brilliant as well. And then you just throw in some magic shit on top of it, and he just becomes this idol of a rugby player. Like, you should have seen the crowd afterwards in Dunedin. No one was coming to the Highlanders players. All the Highlanders fans were going to get Adi Savia autographs. Like, the guy's crazy. He's just nuts.
Dude, I don't even know how to explain it, right? Like, I made a TikTok video talking about like the youngsters coming through, and obviously that opened up a little discussion surrounding Sasha Feinberg, right? And I saw a couple of Kiwis talking about, yeah, listen, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Kiwi, but Sasha Feinberg scares me. And I'm like, well, you've got Wallace Atiti and Adi Savia there, who can probably play anywhere that they want to and still be standout performers. Like, I'm not gonna. Those guys are world class. Like, okay. Satiti is that one season, right? So we're judging it off the one season. We've seen hits and misses after one season, right? That's why it's called a one season wonder. I don't believe he'll be a one season wonder. I think he's outstanding, but let's not put him in the same bracket as Adi. Adi is, dude, this guy has to play for you until he's dead.
But it's crazy. He's already in the 80 cap area for the All Blacks. Like, he's a veteran at this point.
Yeah. And as he should be, right?
Yeah.
Like, this guy's going to play about 500 games. I wouldn't let him sit out any games because he's literally your match winner every single game. It is utterly crazy. When I did a all-time combined World 15, right? I did it on Safis Unscripted. I put in Adi as my 8. I think he's the greatest 8 to ever play the game already. Current player.
I mean, I would have been, a couple of years ago.
Obviously, you get Kieran Reid and those type of guys, but I just give him his flowers now. I don't even care. No one has done what Adi does on the field.
No.
For what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, as I said, it's like he does all the jobs of an 8 or a 7 or wherever he's playing in the loose forward. He does those jobs brilliantly, like you expect of an international loose forward. But then, yeah, he just does stuff no one else can do. Like,
Yeah.
and it's so good to watch. And if you haven't been watching Super Rugby, simply just watch it because he's in it. Honestly, watch him.
I feel like we're doing disservice to Moana Pacific. I mean, whatever.
No, but Moana Pacifica have been brilliant. I don't want to take it away from them. They're improving week on week on week on week, and they keep getting better. And it is with the help of Adi Savea, but he's making the other players play better as well. Miracle Failangi has been brilliant. Tupo Tailoa, the number 8, has been brilliant. The number 9, who I always forget his name, Tolmatini. Jason Tolmatini. He's been brilliant. And then Danny Tuala in the midfield, Lalomilo, one of the coolest names in the competition.
Second to Ricky Riccatelli.
Yeah, and Ricky Riccatelli's up there too. And then Harveli at the back has been brilliant. Again, like these guys are all stepping up. And it's that, as I said to you at the start of the season when we talked about them, is they're getting that winner's mindset that they know they can win games. Now, it's not just about trying to win a game here and there. It's about consistently winning games, and they know they can do it. And so now they're pushing to stay in that top 6, stay in knockout rugby, and get as far as they can in this competition.
Yeah. Let's chat about a little preview for round 13. Only 4 games. The Draw taking on the Blues. Big match for the Blues. Massive game. Oh, it's not in Lautoko, is it?
No, it's not. It's at Suva, I think. Yeah.
Yep. Blues victory.
Nah. Draw it.
Of course you're going to say that.
They just beat the Reds. They beat the Reds at Suva. If they can beat the Reds at Suva, and we've proved that red is better than blue because the Reds beat the Blues, then we know that rugby math, which doesn't work, Drua beat the Blues.
No, but the Blues posted their video. They're undefeated since their video posted.
No, that only worked for 1 week. You can't write off that video forever.
I reckon the Blues get it done. I still see the Blues ending top 6 and then getting like a major upset even.
Who are they knocking out of the top 6 then? The Reds, the Hurricanes, or the Moana Pacifica?
Moana.
You reckon Moana don't make it? Wow.
I reckon Moana gets close but no cigar. Kicks on next season. Better season. I reckon the top 6 is Chiefs, Crusaders, Brumbies, Hurricanes, and then Reds and Blues.
Wow. Woo, okay.
That's saucy.
I think it'll be the same, but Moana instead of the Blues.
Okay.
So give me the draw to win. Draw to win by 3 points. Another close game.
You need that now. I can believe that it's going to be close. I'll take the Blues by 5 or less. But with that performance, that was a massive performance. If you can back it up in Fiji, now's the time to do it, right? If you ever needed to back up your performance to save your season, now's the time to do it. Because I think if they've hardly even won 2 games in a row, I don't even think they have. So to get this one would be massive. So I'm going to back them to finally get 2 victories.
Okay.
Waratahs versus the Reds, our 2 dark horses. Waratahs at home.
Give me the task to win this.
No.
On week.
No, you said last week was the on week, but they'll lose.
Yeah, but they lost, so it still doesn't count as an on week. So this is, and they're at home. The Waratahs only win at home, apparently. They haven't won a game away from home yet, so they'll win this one.
No, the Reds really need this one. They really need this one.
It'll make things very interesting if the Waratahs win this.
Yeah. Which is kind of why I would like the Waratahs to win it. I mean, who doesn't like a little shootout? Proper Western. But no, I'm going Reds. I'm backing the Reds again. I'm going against Rugby Heritage here because it's tough with knowing the Waratahs are going to have an on week.
Yeah, Rugby Heritage tells me Waratahs by 8.
I'm still going to back the Reds. Okay. I need to. I need this dark horse shot to come through. I thought it was a lethal one. It looked good until they spilled the beans after 80 minutes on the previous one. Reds to pull through and beat the Tars. This will be a massive victory. If the Reds win this one, that is massive.
Yeah, puts them like pretty solidly in 4th.
Yeah, but not just that. Imagine the confidence winning a derby like that.
Yeah,
You're
that's
playing
true.
for playoff places.
Yeah.
Against odds. Because I reckon the Waratahs are still the favourites.
Yeah, 100%.
Waratahs also with a game in hand, by the way.
Yeah. So are the Reds.
Yeah, but if these two obviously playing against each other now, right? So if the Reds lose this one and the Waratahs get 4 points, all of a sudden we're on a 28-25 streak again. Even the Waratahs could pip the Reds then.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
The Reds have got a tough run in.
It's brutal. There's a lot going on this week. It's going to be great.
That's why I'm backing the Reds. They'll know business end. Time to step up. Leskis is not going to get announced as the Wallaby coach and then lose his next 2 games.
We'll see. We will see.
Okay, and then we've got our Saturday games. Banger. Crusaders versus the Chiefs.
Top of the table clash.
Damien McKenzie back. Wallace Satiti starting.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Crusaders team. Let me check.
Probably pretty stacked. Yep. Pretty much full strength.
Wow. Give me the Crusaders. Give me the Crusaders.
It's going to be such a tough game.
Yeah.
I can either see this being a straight like shootout, like 30-29, or it being like 15-16.
You know where the trouble lies? The Crusaders' defense for me. They do enjoy a soft try. Like, it's not always, but we've seen it. We've seen it before. And if you're going to concede soft tries against the Chiefs, they are going to pounce on those opportunities.
Yeah. It's true. But yeah, oh man, this is so, I don't know how to pick this one, I'll be honest. Like, it makes, you've said Chiefs, I'm going to lean towards the Crusaders because Rugby Heritage tells me that.
No, I didn't say Chiefs. I said Crusaders.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm agreeing.
I don't even think I did a prediction, but I'm going with the Crusaders.
Because Rugby Heritage tells me the closer you get to finals time, the harder it is to beat the Crusaders.
Yeah.
They've
also got a game in hand, by the way. So top of the table clash, but the Crusaders have played a game less than the Chiefs.
Yeah. So it might be interesting if the Chiefs win and then they tie up again.
Well, if the Crusaders beat the Chiefs and the Brumbies, are the Brumbies playing this weekend?
Yep, Force.
Yeah. If the Brumbies beat the Force, Brumbies go above the Chiefs as well.
All the Brumbies care about is top 3. Home finals. That's the thing. Yeah,
but currently, as it stands currently, would you? Ooh, no. Oh wait, top 6 goes through. So the Brumbies would play the Reds. I'd rather play the Reds than getting second and playing the Hurricanes.
Yeah. So like the thing you got to think about. So the way the top 6 works is obviously 1 plays 6 and 2 plays 5 and 3 plays 4. But the top 3 will have obviously got the home final and then lucky loser from there. So it's imperative that the Brumbies win, become top 3 because that means they get that home final.
What do you mean?
Because if they get top 3, right, these finals, regardless of home advantage, it affects the Brumbies more than any of the other teams. Because looking at it now, it would be the Chiefs, Moana, Pacifica, and the Hurricanes, Crusaders. The Hurricanes could beat the Crusaders in Christchurch, right? And Moana could pull an upset. They already have against the Crusaders this year, so they could do it against the Chiefs. And so what would happen is if the Hurricanes and Moana beat Crusaders and Chiefs, the Brumbies are now the top-ranked team.
But how does it work if it's not 8 teams? So it's not a quarterfinal.
Lucky loser. So what would happen is if Moana beat the Chiefs, right, and the Hurricanes beat the Crusaders, the Chiefs, since they're top of the table, would be the lucky losers, and it would be the Chiefs would play the Brumbies, but they'd be away because the lucky loser then basically goes from the top to the bottom seed because they lost, right?
Okay.
And so
So
that's why.
but the others fall out. So the highest one that loses, he's the lucky loser.
Yeah.
So let's
So
say
that's
if there
when-
was 2 upsets with the Crusaders and the Chiefs both losing, the Crusaders would be out because they're below the Chiefs.
Yep.
Woo! Saucy.
Yeah.
didn't
So it's
even
still
know that.
exciting. But yeah, as I said, the Brumbies
Is that the first year that they're doing that, or did they do that in the past? Am I missing something?
their first year because they dropped to 11 teams because no Melbourne Rebels.
Oh, okay. So it used to be the top 8 and was just normal quarterfinals.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
exciting. And as I said, the Brumbies benefit more than any other team on that list from a home final. So they need to stay top 3 if they want to win the whole competition.
Yeah. Brumbies at home will be a tough ask for anyone. Yep. The way that they're playing.
Yeah.
Okay. So both of us backing the Crusaders to get it done.
Yeah, just
purely on vibes. Home ground advantage and vibes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Force versus Brumbies. The Force, they've been smashed twice in a row. Do you reckon with a derby like this, they could bounce back?
Yeah, and it's at home for them. So yeah.
Have you got the Force winning?
Sneaky. I reckon they upset it.
No, I've got the Brumbies, which means we are only agreeing on one pick this week.
Which is
Crusaders.
Crusaders, yeah. Okay. Which will probably both be wrong and the Chiefs will win.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm going to go with Brumbies. I just feel like the way that they've approached the game after their shaky start at the start of the season, they've played mature rugby. They've played great rugby. It's been exciting rugby. And once again, it's been that it's going to be physical. Can you stop that? Now, obviously, the Force have kind of taken the same approach. I mean, if you look at the amount of tries that Coletizano scored from behind the ruck, or, oh, my bad, the hooker's name just slipped my mind. Yeah. So that will be an interesting battle, the physicality. But I just think the flair that you've got and the names and the talent that you've got in the Brumbies backline is a bit better. You look at the Western Force, obviously, they've had some decent guys, but it's mostly been through Ben Donaldson and Harry Potter. Whereas the Brumbies, it just feels a bit more like a team. The way that they're playing. Larkham has been a sensational coach. They know how to do it. They know how important this game is. They won't let it slip up like this.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to argue with that. I just think it'll be a random upset.
Okay. Purely based on vibes.
Yeah, pretty much. No analytical thinking here. Just they don't like that they've lost 2 in a row. They'll force to play better at home. Just some Harry Potter magic, bit of Ben Donaldson magic, and high scoring game, but they're forced to pip it.
You reckon it's high scoring?
Yeah.
Interesting. For some reason, I'm thinking this might be like a 22-20 game, something like that.
I reckon it'll be like 38-34.
Oh, those are sexy games. You just don't know. Because they might be like 12 points behind, but somehow score 2 tries in 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden the game's flipped. That brings us to the end. Aiden, thanks for joining as always. People, please do remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Go give Aiden a follow on TikTok and join the Discord chat as well. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.